By the way, what do you make then, Gio, of EDG then? Because obviously this is one of the teams where it was really hard to know, will they even get out of groups?
Yeah.
Can they? You know, in theory, in their group, some people might have had them as the worst team in the group. You know, who knows?
Oh my God. EDG really surprised me, but I don't think I'm unique in that. I mean, and admittedly, a lot of that is because I didn't know a lot about them. Like, who does really know a lot about the Chinese teams, to be honest? But I mean, everybody's obviously talking about Kong Kong, which is their duelist, who just seems to be. I mean, if you're looking at just a raw jet skill, like, has to be like a top 3, at least at this tournament, right? Just, he's ridiculous.
Okay.
But I feel like the team as a whole, oh my God, if we're talking about creativity in teams, like, this team, they are like not afraid to do things that seem to be slightly outside the bubble, even if they're just really small things. That, like, there were certain moments in their game versus T1, there would be certain tiny little things where I'd be like, wait, hold on, that's not how you play Valorant. And it would be like Haodong, who's their smoker, like pushing onto B site fracture to, like, as the opening, like, contact, right? Or like he would like push through a molly to go and like put a plant down in a place where he's going to be super vulnerable, and you're like, hold on a fucking second. Not only did he just do that, when that's dumb, except it's not dumb because it worked, and also they're still like mowing down T1 on top of this because they are forcing T1 into such serious submission. The other thing is, like, speaking of them forcing T1 into submission, there'd be so many instances where they had such a good read on what free space they had elsewhere on the map that T1 weren't gonna re-clear, or like maybe assumed was safe, because the number of fucking flanks that like this team could just pull up, it didn't matter what player it was. It could be any fucking player on the team. It just doesn't matter. And they would just be able to like go around at another part of the map, like later on, and they would just be able to make these pinches and these little sandwiches and shit like that, like serving up fucking T1 on a bagel. Like, I don't know. There's just like...
Right. Someone write all these down. They're pretty good lines. This is good material. Keep going.
Thanks. This team was whack. And I mean... one player as well, who I haven't even really mentioned at this point, who I was so impressed by just on an individual skill level, was Chichu. Like, I feel like you get a lot. It's really interesting looking at the kind of Sentinel role at the moment, because you have some more passive Sentinels who are just like leaning more into the lurk, but they don't necessarily expect to like pop off or do much. And you get people who are a lot more kind of active in terms of part of that, like the aggression and whatever. And Chichu is a player that, like, I don't remember which the first game, because I had to go, because of time zones, I had to go back and watch these as VOD. So I don't remember which was the first one that I watched. But at first I was like, oh, okay, yeah, this guy seems like he can kind of clutch when he needs to. And as I was like watching more and more of these series, I was like, hold the fuck on. Like, this guy literally just, he just doesn't, like, he can be close range, it can be long range, it can be like fucking at any pressurized part or unpressurized part. He can like go and take space. He can be having his space encroach upon. It doesn't matter. Like, this guy is insane. And I'm like, okay, like, I'm a fan now. And I really underestimated them just because I was like, I just, you know, I was like, yeah.
Dude, I feel you. This is, you know what I feel like this is, Duncan? We're watching MJ when he first came into the NBA. Like, we're watching him in like 89 right now when we watch Kang Kang. Like, give this guy a year. I swear to God, this team is just getting exponentially better every time I see them. They're now understanding like fundamentals, mid-rounding, positioning, timings. Like, their hits are nice, but their players are so goddamn skilled. I swear to God, I have never seen anything like this. I have never seen anything like it. Like, Smoggy's winning clutches with like 12 HP, one-shotting the two people. Kang Kang never misses an op shot, like, ever. And his crosshair placement's not great. Like, that's the crazy part. His crosshair placement's like, he's just whipping all over the place. It's like when I first played CSGO against Skadoodle, and his name was like Weh, and he just wasn't missing, and I thought he was cheating. I was like, this guy is bullshit. Like, what the fuck? And then I ended up playing with him, obviously, years later. Like, that's what it feels like when I watch them. Like, They definitely are the best mechanical team I have ever seen.
Ooh, okay.
Without a doubt. It's like watching FaZe a long time ago in CSGO, where they just
The
stacked
superstar
team
lineup. Yeah.
Yeah. So they have a puncher's chance against any team they play.
Okay.
Any team. Like,
I've got an interesting angle for you on this then, because obviously, like you said, if I put the framework you said earlier, that whereas in CSGO it's about making the fewest mistakes, and in Valorant it's more like be creative and like force the opponent into doing stuff, and you can even just use mechanics, etc. Well, if you know in CSGO, the team that we had from China, Tai Lu, what always fucked them is that they played mega aggressive. They had good aimers, but they didn't understand the European meta. So what happened is they could get like a BO1 upset, but if they played in a best of 3, they get picked apart. Like the good teams essentially would know how like the site setups and how you punish them. Yeah. And one of the reasons why I actually know why the Chinese players often have very good aim and this crazy style is because they really do come from those LAN cafes where you have the shitty little mouse mat, no joke, like a really basic mouse. And so you use a high sensitivity. It's a real thing. Whereas in CSGO, people don't know. Generally, you use the low sensitivity and like everyone knows this stuff. But basically, though, as a result, I can see how the game could be different. Like if you're just mechanically super good, I mean, we've seen this from Paper X, right? You could tear these teams up, especially if they don't know what's coming.
They make Paper X look like amateurs.
Especially if you've never seen the VODs or you can't interpret the VOD because it's a different region. You know, it must be a shock to play these guys the first time.
How does this work though? I thought like Valorant's still in like beta in China. Like they haven't even had access to the game that long.
I bet they've been grinding like a motherfucker. That's the other thing. I heard they used to just grind so hard on all the FPS games.
Well, can't you only play like 3 hours a week in China if you're like under 18? Or they're all like 19. So like how are they so good?
This has almost changed my opinion about like the whole developing region thing, because I've like looked at this and I've looked at how EGD play, and I'm like, if they can do that, given how like new and inaccessible Valorant is in China, and the fact that they don't have their own league, they're not like, I don't know if they can scrim with teams that are outside of China or anything like that. I'm like, if they can do that and they can be this fucking good, no one has an excuse. Like, there is no excuse that you can put in front of me for any other region, any other level of experience, any other whatever. There's nothing. There just isn't one.
They're the best team. Like I swear, they're gonna be the best team in like 2 years. Like mark it down. Like the best team is coming out of China in like 2 years. I think
like here's also the thing: they're gonna be facing Team Liquid, and Liquid. When you consider the two team cores that made the current Team Liquid, so Old Team Liquid and Old Gambit, two of the most like rigid structured teams, and I guess that's kind of an EMEA thing anyway, but like really, really like structured in the way that they play. And then you've got this team who are going to come in, do whatever the fuck they want. Half of it's going to be shit that Liquid will have never seen before or won't be expecting or won't necessarily be accounting for. And then even if that shit goes wrong, they'll just change it mid-round and they'll make it right? Like this is going to be so like really, really at best annoying for Liquid, at worst absolutely devastating for Liquid. Yeah. I think just in the way that they play.
By the way, just as an aside, I'll just throw this out there for comedic effect as well. They've also done that thing where they pick mad names because English isn't their first language. So in CSGO, this is not a joke. One of the players on the best Chinese team had the name Somebody. They have a fucking player called Nobody. Both of those, you should know this as casters, are a fucking nightmare if you're a caster, because the amount of shit jokes that they get, somebody gets a 3K. Well, who is it, Dan? Just tell me who. Somebody. Yes, I know that, but who? Like it's like fucking
something on Paper X.
Yeah, there's also or is there? We'll find out in a second. No one technically knows. Apparently they're leaving him like fucking Sting in WCW. Is he in the rafters? Is he in the building today? Like no one even knows on that one yet. So we'll see on that. But yeah, go on then, Sean. What do you think about this matchup then? Team Liquid one.
So before the groups got drawn, I was sitting there. I was like, dude, the one match that I feel like they want is the Liquid match. And then in the the post game interview when they qualified, their player was like, the interviewer was like, who do you want to play? And they're like, Liquid Nuts. That's all they said. They were just like,
okay, called them out. Fucking hell,
like,
okay.
Bro, they literally want to play the team that I want them to play. And then they drew them. And I was like, oh, fuck.
So this is the style clash then, right?
Yes, this is like the perfect style clash.
I want to see Chitu versus Nuts so badly.
This is like the perfect game for them. Like, they wouldn't beat Fnatic. They wouldn't beat Loud. But like, at least in this round one game, because there's no footage. But this game, Liquid should be terrified. Liquid should be terrified because it's just like FaZe in CSGO. You can practice all the fuck you want. You can do any strat you want. You will never, ever play a team that can do the thing this team can do. They're like, you know, it's like fighting Mike Tyson. Like, you know, like you'll never get training that's equivalent to Mike Tyson in his prime. And that's what I think of when I watch EDG. It's like, you don't know what you're dealing with until you get punched in the face in the server. You're like, oh, like I can't jiggle the way I normally do. I'm scared. Like, I can't do this like the way I normally do. Like, these guys, like Gio said, their controller might take an opening duel. Like, that's insane.
Right.
You might lose your
role
smokes.
agnostic.
Right.
Yeah.
If people don't know, if people are from like they don't know the CS:GO reference, the team he's talking about, FaZe Clan, basically was like what every fan's dream of, like, put all the best players on one team, so they had insane mechanical ability, and then their IGL was the best mid-round IGL. So as Sean's saying, it's like, how do you prepare for that? Because essentially you can't strat that. He switches up in the mid-round, and as you say, you go to a spot thinking, right, they're going to attack like this, and then someone just one bullets you straight in the head. So it's like there is no game plan for that. You have to essentially just hope they miss, or just sort of almost get lucky with what your setup is.
So I actually think they're like more equivalent to like before Kerrigan joined FaZe.
Oh,
like,
okay.
Like
when they were just all the skilled players with no IGL,
yeah,
right?
just the skilled players, no IGL.
Right.
Like, that's what it's like when you watch them. And that's why I think, like, over time, the more reps they get, the better they're going to get.
Right.
And some insight into them is when I was coaching under Thieves at Champs and we were scrimming against them, they were playing us so tight in these scrims. Like, we won all the pistols and we would barely beat them in the scrims. And I was like, Jesus Christ, like, it's insane. But we were in chamber meta, and I was like, they're running like double duelist chamber, and the second chamber is nerfed. Like,
right.
These guys are going to get fucked. And they proved me wrong. They proved me wrong really quickly this event. And actually at lock-in too. Man, I remember eating breakfast one morning at like 9 a.m. in Turkey, and these guys had like, they were looking for scrims at like 10, 11 a.m. No other team was looking for scrims that early. And then I was going to bed, and they were looking for scrims at 8, 9, 10. Oh, they just played all day, right? I see. They were playing like 13 hours of scrims.
Wow.
Like, that's like impossible.
Yeah.
Like, I don't, like, these guys' work ethic.
Oh, that's another thing, by the way. Look, obviously Korea's like almost got there, but haven't quite broken through and won. You know the reason why I'm just waiting? Because I've always told CSGO players, like, because I come from, like, I've also watched StarCraft and League of Legends. Like, I know it's not about the game, just the amount of players they have, the amount of skill, and then its key is the work ethic. Like, if people don't know, in League of Legends now, the dirty secret they just try not to mention because it depress all Western fans is no Western teams practice even close to as much as the Korean and the Chinese teams. In fact, when the best TSM lineup ever years ago tried to do like the Korean style, like 3 scrim blocks, after like 6 months of it, they just said like it wasn't worth living. Essentially, like, we just can't do this anymore. We just got to quit. We got to go back to 2. Like, it just ruins your life. These guys, that's just normal life there. Like, they really have a crazy like hunger and like a drive to play. And also part of it is like they are pretty ruthless in their teams. Like, if they think you don't fit the culture, just get the fuck out. They'll bring the next guy in.
Exactly. Like, it's just like the saucy and fraud thing we were talking about earlier, except it's just their entire like scene, right? Like, it's just, that's how it's built, is that work ethic. And to compare it to like NA work ethic, I'm not going to name the name, but one of the last boot camps I did in my career on like one of the top level teams I was on, I went to Europe and I was like, okay, we're going to grind. Like, let's do like, 7 scrims, like 6, 7 scrims a day. My teammates were like, no, I can't. Like, my eyes get hurt after like 5 scrims because we're like practicing beforehand. And so like physically they just refused to do it. Like, I could not get them to play more than like 5, 6 scrims. And these guys just, they don't even know what that is. They don't know what like quitting is. Like, you even listen to Ken Kang's interviews and he's just giga confident. Like, there's not an ounce of self-doubt. Like, there's nothing he feels like he can't do. And it's so different. Like, I have so much faith in this team. I love watching them. Like, it's insane to watch.
Which one of them was it that there was the photo of him doing the like gun thing? Oh, that was Kang Kang?
Yeah. So this guy's a legit superstar, Duncan. Like, he's the guy that's not going to miss a shot. He's going to do like emotes after he gets an insane clip.
Oh, he's actually shit talking too, right? Okay.
Yeah.
There's clips of him that I was watching on stream yesterday where he raps. He actually, like, an interviewer came up to him on stage and he just starts rapping in Mandarin. He sings in Mandarin. Like, this guy is just like Michael Jordan.
So he's also got the charisma too,
bro,
right? Okay.
He's the super.
I'm trying to find this
superstar.
picture. Oh, here we
Nice.
go. I know that this doesn't really like help the people who are watching, but I'm going to put it in our Discord chat so that you can.
I can put it in the VOD, so it's all good.
Okay, all right. It's
Oh,
just so good. Like,
Here's the clip, Duncan. You should just watch it right now, dude. Like this guy is just the GOAT. He's like literally my favorite player. I'm not joking. He's fucking
how old
sick.
is he?
19.
Of course he is.
The GOAT.
Yeah. I love this team. Like, I didn't think I'd care about this team. I love this.
Oh, right. When they sent T1 home, because obviously the China, Korea, like rivalry. All right.
Yeah.
There's even like trash. By the way, that's
was a
also
brutal.
that's
game.
also gangster as fuck if you know, because if you know a little bit about League of Legends, you know that T1 fans are fucking nutters, mate. They are so intense. They're the ones that are sending trucks when the League of Legends team loses outside the building, like, fire everyone. So, like, the idea he's just talking mad shit on them is like, oh, it's too delicious.
Well, I think
mate.
like
It's too
because
good.
I've been because I've been just greening out over EDG. I'm sure like my phone knows that I just love EDG, so they're suggesting me like EDG League of Legends content.
Okay.
And
All
like,
right.
did you see how that Uzi guy got leaked? There was like a fan that was in like a
yes.
tree
Oh, yeah,
outside the
tree?
headquarters.
Yeah,
bro.
yeah, you're right. To see if this legendary player had joined the team again, you're right. Someone climbed up a tree, like shimmied, like literally out of like a car, like an anime or something, and then was like peeking through. And it even looks mad grimy. He's looking like there's like a leaf, and he's like looking through a window, like I've got him. He's in there. Oh, it's not in it at all.
That's gonna be Sean trying to see what Kung Kung.
Yeah,
says.
exactly.
Yeah, it's
See more cool, funny, interesting clips based on topics from my content? Well, subscribe to this channel then, or, be a pleb and don't.